The jury found the defendant Daniel Perry guilty of the offense of murder as alleged in count 1 of the indictment signed by the foreperson. Verdicts form number 2.
We begin KVUE News at 5 on this Friday afternoon with breaking news. After hearing from nearly 40 witnesses, the jury has found U.S. Army Sergeant Daniel Perry guilty of murder. Just moments ago, we heard that verdict.
Perry was working as a rideshare driver in downtown Austin when he shot and killed Garrett Foster, who was taking part in a social justice protest against police brutality in the summer of 2020. KVUE's Isabella Basco has been following this trial from the beginning. Isabella?
Well, Brian and Quita, we've been waiting since 9 o'clock this morning, and it was just half an hour ago when the doors to this courtroom opened back up, and finally they announced that the jury has reached a verdict. They have been deliberating since 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Garrett Foster's family and friends immediately filing back to the courtroom. That you could feel the palpable tension and emotion and anticipation. Judge Brown was asking people to refrain from any outbursts since this has been a very difficult trial, and eventually, as you all mentioned, the jury reaching this verdict, Perry being found guilty of murder and not guilty of aggravated assault. Perry immediately breaking down into the arms of his defense team. You could hear the cries and the emotion and kind of the relief from Garrett Foster's family. Whitney Mitchell bursting into tears. Also, we were able to get a quick statement, a quick interview with Garrett Foster's father, Stephen Foster.
We're happy with the verdict. We very sorry for his family as well. There's no winners in this, and just glad it's over.
And Perry is going to be remanded into the custody of the sheriff. And also what we saw is that Garrett Foster's family left. His mother also has been texting me saying that she's been sick with anxiety all day. So really, really emotional day here after a very, very difficult trial that, like Judge Brown had been saying earlier before. We're going to stick around, see if there's any new updates. But for now, back to you, Brian and Quita.
Isabella Basco, live for us downtown. Isabella, thanks so much. Let's continue our coverage now with senior reporter Tony Plahetsky. Tony, you've been following this trial. This wasn't a case of proving who shot the gun. This was a case of proving the intent behind that, wasn't it?
That's exactly right. And we have seen Daniel Perry raise that self-defense, but also at the same time, as we have been saying as part of our coverage, according to legal experts, you can't provoke something and then say, I fired in self-defense. The self-defense law does not cover that. But I can tell you that of all the legal experts we've been talking to throughout the course of this trial, many of them believe that perhaps this would result in a hung jury or not guilty verdict. I can tell you that the fact that this is now a guilty verdict against Daniel Perry is quite surprising to a number of people who have been closely watching this trial in the legal community here.
Well, Tony, what were some of the key moments in this trial for the jury that led them to say guilty? According
to many of the people I've been talking to, it was his messages, his text messages and social media posts. Soon before the death of Garrett Foster, he wrote, for example, quote, I might have to kill a few people on my way to work. They are rioting outside my apartment. In another one, he wrote, quote, I might go to Dallas to shoot looters. And so prosecutors successfully apparently put forth the idea that that was an indication of his mindset, his state of mind. And so again, it really speaks to whether or not there was some level of premeditation that night.
And that over in the jury's mind, it appears, superseded the fact that the gun was pointed at Perry, who then allegedly returned the violence toward Foster on the street.
This has been from day one a very complicated set of facts. I mean, Perry's defense has argued, look, he had an AK-47 and Daniel Perry was in fact afraid, and that is the reason that he opened fire on him. But this is, again, the landscape of this case. One expert I talked to from the outset said, this case is exactly the reason we have jurors and the legal and the justice system throughout our nation.
Heard all the facts.
That's right. Senior reporter Tony Plahetsky, thank you very much. We will be hearing more from Tony as this story continues to develop.